Hello, Waldo Figueroa here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to bring in a video file that we captured previously for our reference, and how we could bring it into Photoshop to do some further editing. So let's go ahead and just open up the file. I'm going to File, or right here within this the home page. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to open, and I'm going to navigate to the location where I have that file. And right here, I have the reference file that I previously shot, that I captured. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. And within Photoshop, we are able to open up video files, and we're going to do some editing. What I want to do, we're going to crop this image down, or our video file down. And then what we're going to do is we are going to give it what's called in and out points, where I want my video to start at a certain position and I want it to end at a certain position as well. And then we're going to tell Photoshop to export a series of images at a certain frame rate that we'll then be able to bring into Maya. So right now I'm just waiting for my system to open up my file. Okay, there we go. It took a moment, but no worries. So what we have right here, let me just show you what we have. This is Photoshop. Typically, you think Photoshop is just used for editing photos or manipulating still images. That is correct, but there's so much functionality available within Photoshop that we even are able to edit video. So what I have right here is the video that I brought in previously. We could see we have the different walk cycles. Again, I want to shout out to Kevin Perry. Thank you so much for making this video available for us. And what I want to go through, I'm just gonna look at these different videos. I'm just trying to find one that I want to use. There's an Ultimate Fighter. I kind of like that one. Let's see, Old Timey Fighter. Dance Fight. I like this one, Dance Fight. So what I'm going to do, first, let's go ahead and crop this. I'm going to switch my crop tool over here, or you could press C on your keyboard and make sure on the top that you don't have a ratio turned on, so it's not going to limit your crop. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I have the WH resolution. So this gives me a free form area to be able to crop this down. So I just want to bring this in right here. This is all that I want. Now, we're not done. We're not done. We have to tell it up here on the option bar to either apply with the check or the circle with the slash to cancel. I'm going to go ahead and apply it. So now we have this. So now what I want to look at the video. And I want to maybe get right before I have the contact. So maybe it's like right here. And also look at his hands as well. So when he has the contact, that the contact is when his foot touches the floor, his hand snap. So let's see, maybe I'll start off with the right foot, right before the contact. So I could see right here, right before the contact. So maybe I'll start with his hands up right here. What I need to do, my playhead cursor is right there. I need to drag this right here. This is where my video is going to start. So I want to drag it at that point. If you need to zoom in or zoom out, down here at the bottom, these little mountains, you could either, this is kind of, if you drag this to the right, you're zooming in. If you drag towards the left, you're zooming out. So I'm going to zoom in now that we have it right here. I can move this around. And I'm just going to click and drag the playhead cursor. So right here, his hands are up, then they start to go down. And I want a cycle. So now his left leg steps forward, and I want to go right to this point where right before his hands or start to go down, say I'll stay right here. I don't want it to end there. I'm going to zoom out my view, and now I want to move the endpoint to snap right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and just play this so I could see what it looks like. I believe there is an option. Let's see. I could tell it to loop playback by clicking on this little gear. I'm going to go ahead and loop my playback. I'm going to press play. So we can see this is all I want. I just want this little section. Great. This looks excellent. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Now, to export this, to export within Photoshop, I want this. I'm going to export as a series of images at a certain frame rate. That's very important because once I bring this into Maya, I want it to have the same timing as I'm going to put within my timeline. So for my timeline, I have it set at 24 frames per second. Some people might like 30. Some even like 60 frames per second. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to click on this little button right here. Oftentimes it's referred to as like the hamburger button, I guess because it looks like a bun, lettuce, cheese, patty, what have you. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm going to go ahead and click on this little button right here. And at the very bottom right here, I have render video. I'm going to go ahead and click on render video. It's going to give me this window. So first, it's going to ask me for a name. So I'm going to go ahead and just change all of this. I'm going to go ahead and tell this one, this is my dance fight reference. Dance fight reference. And it wants a location. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to select folder. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new folder on my desktop for right now. I'm going to move this folder later on. I am on Windows. I want to mention that the same options apply on a Mac computer. So this is just different because I'm creating a different folder, but everything that I've done in Photoshop is going to be the same on a Mac. So I'm going to call this one my dance fight reference. I'm going to go ahead and select this folder, select folder. So I want all my files in there. And there's two options. By default, Adobe Media Encoder is selected. Now you do this if you want to export a video. I want to export a series of images. So I'm going to select the Photoshop image sequence. Format, I want JPEG. I want this to start at number, I'm going to tell it to start at frame 1 because my animation is going to start at frame 1. For the document size, so I'm going to make a note of this document size. It's almost squared, 587 by 585. Frame rate, I'm going to make sure that my frame rate is set to 24 frames. Document frame rate, you can see the document frame rate for this one is just under 30 frames per second, 29.754. I'm going to tell it to be specifically 24 frames per second. And the range, I want the work area. That's going to be these frames right here. And once I have this set, I'm going to go ahead and tell it to render. And it's going to take a moment. Done. Let me go ahead and open up my file on my desktop just to show you what we have. So right here, we now have a series of images. I'm going to go ahead and just preview these images. I'm going to just show you what we have. So I'm just going through each image so you could see. So this one in total, there's 32 frames. So at 24 frames per second, that's just a little over a second, which is totally fine. But that's it. So right here, I now have these series of images that I'm going to be using to bring into Maya. Now I'll do that in the next video, but for right now, this is the step 2. We've now brought in our video into our reference video into Photoshop. We're able to crop it. We're able to pinpoint the start and end point for the video that we want for the reference. And we're able to export all these images out that we'll be able to bring into Maya. So go ahead and do this. In the next video, I'll show you how to bring this in as a reference into Maya. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.